Worried about your collection? You won't be after this video. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, this is Lou from Country Club Comics. I wanted to just come on and I'm not doing an unboxing right now. I know I've been doing a lot of those. But I want to talk about this pervasive worry people have about their collection and about the way comics are going in the industry. And I did a little bit of research, a little bit of data gathering, and I think you'll feel a little bit better about your collections after we go over this data. But we have to just sort of suspend certain presumptions as we go along. But I'll explain as we go along with this. So I watched a lot of discussions on YouTube and noticed that of late there seems to be this prevailing idea that the comic industry is failing. Values are plummeting. Collections are becoming worthless, and everybody is in panic mode. You don't know what to do.
I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope, right? Show me the way. Oh, God.
Now, I have a lifelong collection. I've sold, I've bought, and the collection I have to happen at this particular time is a pretty cool collection, I think. I like what I have. I mean, I'm going to be doing some more selling eventually and cull it down to the bare bones of what I really want. But for now, it's a really cool collection. Is my collection losing value? Are those ideas true that the market is indeed falling? We're going to answer that in a little while. First, let's set the stage of where this all began. And we all know this, but let's just review it, okay? The year is 2019. Everything's going great, right? We just came off of Avengers Endgame, and everything's at a high, and the nerdverse is in full swing. Pandemic, right? Everything gets shut down about a third of the way through the year. And then later on in the year, you know, people are basically out of work and just things are not great, right? So during this time, what are we doing? We're home. We're going through our comics, right? Reorganizing, looking to reinvigorate our collections. Our collecting bug is active again. That was pretty easy to get out of hibernation, right? We had the time. We had the privilege of being home in our homes a lot anyway. And here's a big one. The government was actually paying people on top of their unemployment. But some people were getting, I think most were getting $600 a week, which is $2,400 a month. And for a lot of people, if they were, you know, they're doing their finances the right way, this was really disposable income now. They could use it. They could, you know, sort of, you know, jumpstart their life or whatever. But what were they doing with some of this money? I think you guys know. This new influx of cash became disposable income and started buying comic books. And then also there was this thing about investing in comics at the time, and investors started jumping in and buying the huge grails and catapulting those numbers. We had the Snyderverse in full swing. And I look, whatever your opinion is about the Snyderverse, it's irrelevant because it was there, it was active. Batman was around, Superman, Justice League, all these iconic characters were there. Avengers, Endgame, all, you know, Captain, all these things were just coming to realization, right? Comics were huge. So now we go through the pandemic and the prices are going up and up and up and up. What does that mean? It means that this was a perfect storm of overspending, right? You had all the hype from all different areas. You had extra money coming in. Comics were being bought, comics were being sold, and prices were through the roof. Now here we are. Every week, prices are falling. Collections are losing values. You know, grails, I mean, the grails, I think, are holding their own, but even they're coming down a little bit where you're saying to yourself, you know, a couple more dollars, I could probably afford those too. What does this all mean? Is it over? Not by a long shot. This is actually good news. And let's go over that. Let's postulate something. We know that the pandemic uptick in comics started in late 2019 and went through 2020 and 21 and finally started to recede a little bit in late 21. I wouldn't even say 21, but early 22, right? And now I think we're back to where we should be, all right? When we look back on this time, we're all going to see this for what it was. This was an anomaly. The last 3 years were the exception to the rule. It's a dreadfully powerful and seductive anomaly. So how do we evaluate this? Okay, ready? Let's not. Let's pretend for a moment it didn't happen. Last 3 years, gone. I know you said, well, you can't ignore the data, but I know, I understand that. But for the time being, let's just pretend that this pandemic didn't happen. We skipped over 3 years. Okay, we were snapped out of existence in 2019. We were snapped back in right now. Okay, and let's look at those numbers because everybody's panicking and everybody's worrying, and I don't think you have a reason to. I know it's natural, especially if you did a lot of your purchasing during the pandemic period, which maybe that's another video. But in terms of trends of comic prices, I think that we're kind of on an even keel. So here's what I did. I went old school and I went to Overstreet and I looked at their top 50 Silver Age books, their top 25 Bronze Age books, and their top 25 Copper Age books for their 2022-2023 edition. Okay? And then what I did was I went to the bottom of each of those lists and I pulled out the bottom 10 of each group. Okay? Why did I do that? Well, I figured like the top ones, everyone's going for, and prices are erratic and a lot of outliers there. But I figured the bottom 10, maybe there's more of a persistent, constant pricing going on with those. It might be a little bit more reliable. Okay. And what did I do? I looked up data on every one of those books. For the Silver Age, I looked up 5.0s. For the Bronze Age, I looked up 8.0s. For the Copper Age, I looked up 9.2s. And I got data from 2019, the highs and lows, and 2022, the highs and lows. We're going to do a little bit of a comparison, okay? So before we get started with that, I'm going to tell you what books I actually pulled out, okay? And here we go. Showcase number 9. These are the Silver Age books, 10 of each. Showcase number 9. This is that Lois Lane, Superman's Girlfriend series starter, I guess. Avengers number 4. Fantastic Four number 48. Great book. Amazing Spider-Man 14. Another great book. These are all great books, but these aren't high grails. These are mid grails for the Silver Age. But they're grails nonetheless. Showcase 14, which is a big book, but it's Flash's 4th appearance. Fantastic Four number 12. Our Army at War number 81. That's the first Sergeant Rock. Amazing Spider-Man number 5. Cool book. No first appearances, but just the first meeting, I guess, between Doctor Doom and Spidey. FF52, of course. First Black Panther. Fantastic book. And Journey into Mystery. Another fantastic book. Number 84. The second appearance of Thor. The 10 bronze books I chose, and you guys know all the key issues with these or the reasons these are keys. X-Men 94. Green Lantern 76. I absolutely love this book. Spider-Man 101. Hero for Hire 1. Iron Man 55, which is really gaining a lot of steam lately. Batman 227 from that iconic Detective Comics number 31 cover. Batman number 251, another amazing cover. Incredible Hulk 180, arguably the first appearance of Wolverine. It actually is. Not the first full, but his first appearance. Batman 232, first Ra's al Ghul. And Marvel Premiere number 1, I believe that's a Warlock. And the 10 Copper books. Spider-Man 238, with the tattoos. Swamp Thing number 37, first John Constantine. New Mutants number 98, of course, that's Deadpool. Evil Ernie number 1. These independent books I'm not really a fan of, but Evil Ernie's on the list, right? And there's enough data to support what we're trying to do here. Spider-Man 252, again, first black costume or paired with that Marvel team up, right? Batman 423, great book. Grendel number 1, Turtles number 2 and 3, and X-Men number 266. Again, arguably the first Gambit issue. All great books. I think everybody would love to have these in their collection. And they're relatively affordable when compared to the crazy grails, right? But let's just jump right to it. Let's look at the numbers, okay? And I'm going to make this, I'm going to make this a solid screen so you can take a picture of it if you want. Look at the numbers, go over them yourself. There's no fudging of numbers here. These are all actual data points. But here's the key thing about it. And we'll have a few examples in a second. In every case, the values of these books have gone up considerably. From 2019 to 2022. For example, Avengers number 4 went from 1,475 as a high in 19 to 3,299 as a high in 2022. That's a 123% difference. Okay? Don't trust the highs? I don't either. Let's look at the lows. Okay? Avengers number 4 had a low in 2019 of $960. Remember, these are all the same 5.0 grades, okay? And the low in 2022 was 2,040, a difference of 113%. So what am I saying? From 2019 to 2022, your money basically doubled. Well, not your money, your value basically doubled. Try getting that in the stock market. If you're lucky, you'll double your money in 10 years, if you're lucky, okay? Let's look at a bronze book. And again, these are random books. Batman 227. I just happen to love this book. I didn't pick it because it had any great data points to it. They're all about the same. All right, that's that great homage to Detective 31. In an 8.0, had a high of $745 in 2019, with a high of $1,497 in 2022. It's a 100% difference, guys. Let's look at the lows. 488 in 2019. 884 in 2022, a difference of 81%. Okay? And finally, let's look at a Copper Age book. Let's take X-Men 266, of which there are many out there. Many. Arguably the first Gambit, not the topic right now. I don't really care about that. In 2019, this book had a high of $180, and in 2022 had a high of $309. That's a hike of 71%. Even though there are so many of these books, it's a hike of 71% in 3 years. This book had a low of $73 in 2019 and a low of $129 in 2022, giving that a jump of 76%. There are even examples where the low of 2022 is greater than the high of 2019, some by as much as 151%. Okay? And then example after example. And these were not handpicked. These are the bottom 10 of the Overstreet selection of silver, bronze, and copper. These are the bottom 10, okay? So what's the bottom line here? Is the comic industry imploding? Because, I mean, if you look at that data, those data points, that's going to point to no. Are our collections losing value? Are we all in a tailspin just trying to catch a little updraft? I would argue absolutely not. Comics are as strong as ever. The data we're seeing on a daily basis, this is down. Oh, was this a year ago? This year? Forget that. Just forget it. Get it out of your head. It's irrelevant because those 3 years were ridiculous. They shouldn't have existed. Okay? Everything was crazy during those 3 years. So skip it. Pretend it didn't exist. Just like the Halloween movies, right? Go from 2019 straight to this year and see what the value of your books was in 19 and 22. I'm telling you, for the most part, your collection is going to be up. It's going to be up. Look, it's just like the stock market. You buy a stock, the worst thing you can do is watch that stock every day. You watch that stock every day, you're going to go crazy. You're going to add stress to your life, stress to yourself, stress to your family. You can't do that. Let it sit. If you bought a stock, that's a solid stock, let it sit. And then when you check back in a month, you're going to see, oh, okay, it's up 50 cents. Oh, okay, let's see. It's up $1. This is the growth you're looking for. Okay? So here's the thing. Historical data does not lie and should give you a little bit of insurance about your collections as they are and your collecting habits. Okay? Comics are still going up. We just have to keep in mind that the pandemic was an exception to the rule. Hopefully, won't be repeated. Now, what's my advice? Again, I'm nobody. I'm a guy on YouTube spouting from his office. Okay? My advice to you about collecting and spending on your collections is the same now as it would have been back in 2019. Number one, buy what you like. I think that's a common rule. Everybody, hopefully, is abiding by that. Buy what you like. Because even if it goes down, you still like it. You bought it for a reason. If you're going to invest, do a little bit of research. Okay? And then when you do buy that book and you have it in your collection, be happy you have it in your collection. Let it sit. Okay? But please don't do this till your bills are paid. Don't take out a mortgage on your house to buy an Action Comics #1. It's just not worth it. Okay? Maybe you could try, I don't know, trading books for a while instead of selling. I'm always open to trades, right? Just, to avoid the money thing. And it's kind of fun to match that up, to this is my value, what's your value, what do you think, blah, blah, blah. All right? Either way, I firmly believe you can be confident that the hobby is secure and it will grow as it has grown historically. And this is, if you look at the numbers now, this is, sort of in spite of the recent, I don't want to say failures, but the recent disappointments from certain movies that were supposed to explode or TV shows that were supposed to catapult these characters. These TV shows are doing that. They are doing that. Okay? And everybody wants to look at the Eternals. Everybody's sleeping on Eternals. I'm going to go out there and get myself a 9.8 Eternals because maybe a couple of them. Because I know that they're going to return. They're going to be not big, but they're going to be in the Marvel Universe. They're going to be a part of the Marvel Universe. They have to be after that movie. And let's be honest, that movie was pretty good. I know people are down on it. That movie was pretty good. So I'm going to go spending. But again, I don't spend till I pay my bills. If I have money left over, maybe I'll look for a book. Something I really wanted. Okay? And that's it. Listen, it's Christmas Eve. I don't know why I'm doing this on Christmas Eve. Enjoy your holiday. Don't panic about your collections. Everything's okay. Everything is fine. And things are going to go up. Not to the stratosphere, but they're going to be steadily going up the way they have been from day one. Don't micromanage your thoughts. Look at things in a longer trend line, and you'll see, oh, okay, it's not too bad. I know we went, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what you're seeing. Cut that curve out. Keep that trend line, and you'll see we are still on an upward trajectory. That's what we have to worry about. And don't even worry about it. It's all good. All right, guys, so listen. Have a great holiday with your families. Don't worry so much about this stuff. We're all good. We have a great community. And that's it. Merry Christmas. I'll see you next time.